If you're a fan of the NBA, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that Kyrie Irving has been traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, aside from the event itself, something that surprised me is some of the comments that have been made following the trade, following the move, and just overall thoughts on Kyrie Irving. And the one I want to point out is surprisingly, seemingly going under the radar, but I want to play you what Stephen A. Smith said right here.
I need help. Irving needs to retire at the end of the season, not tomorrow. Yeah.
I duped you. He didn't actually say that. That was an AI-generated Stephen A. Smith that I found online in like less than 5 minutes for free to use, and then proceeded to generate like 15 different things, all said by somewhat sounding like they're from Stephen A. Smith. So let's talk about what just happened. We are in an unprecedented time in the fact that seemingly endless amounts of entertainment can be generated at the click of a button with almost no human interaction. I'm sure if you're on the internet a lot, I'm sure you're aware of Endless Seinfeld, a project going on right now that is an AI procedurally generated episode of Seinfeld that just goes on and on and on. I don't exactly know how long it's been running so far, but it seems to be getting better at what it does, and that is producing an endless episode of Seinfeld with, aside from the programming that set it up, no human interaction whatsoever, as far as I know. I was watching a video from Moist Critical, I'm sure you know who that is on YouTube, and he was talking about this Endless Seinfeld and these different kind of voice generators that are just widely available to the public at the moment, and how a lot of them are even like do-it-yourself modules that you can feed samples of an individual's voice to, and then try to go on and generate whatever you want. You can have them say whatever you want. I made Stephen A. Smith say this.
I would beat LeBron James in a one-on-one game to 21.
Now, as crazy as some of the comments Stephen A. Smith has made over the years, I don't think he would ever proudly proclaim that he could beat LeBron in a one-on-one. I don't think he'll ever say this either.
My New York Knicks have won the NBA Finals.
I apologize if you're a Knicks fan, but it's the truth of the world. But I did that all in literally minutes. Like, I watched the video. I thought, I wonder if there's, a sports figure that I can take and I can generate some takes with some AI generator. And there, lo and behold, was Stephen A. Smith waiting to be my puppet. And think about the ramifications of that. Think about the impact that could have going forward. Look at what just happened with Ja Morant and the Grizzlies situation. Something that, to my knowledge, was settled, investigated, and like I said, settled before the leak happened on Twitter and stuff that was saying like, oh, there was lasers pointed at the Pacers bus and all this stuff. Like, imagine what would happen if thrown into that was a voice clip of Ja Morant saying some heinous shit about like attacking other players, about, doing these kind of violent actions that people seem to want to ascribe to him. Is ascribe even a word? I'm saying they try to paint this picture of who he is, and as this technology gets better, as there's more and more footage available to be taken and fed into these AI generation machines, there's going to be real serious ramifications of these things. Imagine if tomorrow somebody perfectly generated a clip of LeBron, like face everything, talking and saying something like he doesn't care about the Uyghur situation in China. Do you know that would blow up so quickly? That would be all over. That would be talked about on the front page of every sports media outlet, and we would be having this whole AI scare within the sports media world. And it's crazy to me because like in this industry, we are so quick to run with rumors. People are so quick to share a story without having any form of validation, without having any, spent any time looking into the sources or the material itself. They just share it and it goes like a freaking wildfire. We could have guys' entire careers derailed in a night because of the capabilities of computers. And that is, I can't even begin to imagine it, because when I was a kid, I grew up right before, everybody had a computer in front of them all the time. I grew up right before then. And to think that we're at a point where you can't even trust what you see and what you hear is mind-boggling to me. Let's try to bring it to a little more personal note than saying like, oh, millionaire athlete's career gets derailed. Let's make it a little more personal. You remember Monte Teo? I'm sure you remember Monte Teo. Really great athlete, played for Notre Dame, had this big controversy because he got catfished, and this catfisher then went on to claim that the person they were playing as was dead, and Monte Teo went on to dedicate his senior season at Notre Dame to this fake girlfriend. And despite the fact that he had an incredible season, people were pissed when it came out that this girl wasn't real. They thought Monte Teo made up this big old story just so he got hype in the Heisman race, when it couldn't be further from the truth. He was the ultimate victim at the eye of that storm, and yet he got the absolute brunt of the force. So think about meeting somebody on Tinder or any other dating app, and you want to FaceTime with them, or you say, oh, I want to hear your voice, I want you to send me a voice message, and they use this AI generator, or they use like a VTuber type setup where it's them, but then it's this like contoured, adjusted face over top of it that is tracked to them so it looks as real as possible. But like, I'm sure a few of you have had long distance relationships in cases where there was enormous amount of trust on your and the other person's end, that neither of you were, putting forth a fictional character, and that you're being your true self. It's a scary thought to me. With how reactive everybody is online nowadays, like, we could seriously have somebody's entire livelihood destroyed in a matter of hours, minutes probably, depending on how fast it gains traction and how convincing the source material is. Truth be told, I probably have enough footage that I could have fed my voice, all my videos, into a voice generator and had it do this video for me. It wouldn't have looked good. It probably would have sounded pretty rough, but it would have worked. And that's that seems to be the point we're headed towards. What if Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp died, and they just replaced him, and we didn't know, and they just had like an AI generative Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp or whatever on the TV, and we didn't know because they pretty much just say a script anyway. I mean, how would we know? How would we know? They might be robots right now. Am I a robot? Are you a robot? That's my point. So just be careful about what you see on the internet. I know I sound like a freaking PSA from the early 2000s, but now we actually are at a time and age where these things can be surprisingly well faked to the level that it could even dupe the individual they're replicating. And that is terrifying. Oh, I forgot to update the subscribers. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Anyway. So be careful out there, folks, because who knows when you might just have Stephen A. Smith saying this.
I've been capping this whole time. Labor past 100 years ago.
And my name is Zachary Taylor. Thank you for your time today.